Nothing there. Do we get a coffee? We can get a coffee. Yeah, that's... Thank you. Letters tonight are these. What's Connor doing in the background? First letter tonight. Donald Trump is going to be elected president. The American people voted for him a long time ago when they started preferring to watch swamp people and porn stars rather than Second World War documentaries. Second letter tonight. Why is it that our society allows these so-called experts anywhere near children? And the last letter tonight, student production. We've got to have a little bit of fun. So the Australian Taxation Office doesn't want to talk about the installation of squat toilets for its culturally diverse website. All these terrific letters coming up very shortly. The Lord Mayor's in tonight too. We'll see what she's got to say about what the Australian Taxation Office has to offer, and Donald Trump. See you in a moment. Don't go away.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, 'cause baby, it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour. It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Variety of experience. Good evening. Speaking of variety of experience, welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have your company. Gary Mitchell with you, and a terrific lineup tonight. Power women, we call them. First up tonight, hello Margy.
Hello Gary.
Where have you been walking, and where are you going?
Oh, I'm just about to start walking. So I'm about to leave on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'll end up in Lisbon at the bottom of Portugal.
That's a long walk.
I'm going to climb all the way along the coast to the top of Spain.
Wow.
Yeah, great. Do it.
How long's that going to take you?
It's about 30 days, I think, that walk.
Is Grant
Something
coming
like
with you?
that. No, he can't be with us.
He's too slow for you, so you leave him
unfortunately.
behind, do you?
Actually, we do walk at different paces.
Is he quicker than you?
No, we argue if we walk together, sadly. We just don't walk at the same pace.
That is not an unusual story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much. What a great panel you've got tonight.
We do. Our Lord Mayor's here as well. Hello,
Hey,
Lily.
Gary.
How are you, Les?
Very good. Lovely to be here.
Perth. Doing really well, especially holidays and Royal Show coming up.
Absolutely. There's just so much going on, and of course spring is here, and there really is a lot to be still very excited about, although there is a little bit of concern about the changing economy. But we
Are you
won't go
noticing
negative
that
too
in
early.
the city of Perth?
Very much so. We're feeling the quietness, and just the numbers aren't there like they were a year or so ago.
What's happening with the rates?
The rates, no, I'm very proud of the fact we have only increased our rates CPI compared to a lot of other local governments that went crazy, but so we're doing well.
Okay. Do you still have that policy where 50% of the revenues come in from parking?
Yes, we do. And
Wow.
the
Bet you
car
ratepayers
parks,
love that.
Yeah, well, not this year they don't.
They don't?
No.
Why?
Car parks aren't as full as they were.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, residents of Perth. I'm one of those.
We all are. So keep driving into the city. Oops, did I say that?
Suzie, where have you been?
Well, I've been to Spain and the south of France, and then I came back, and then I went to Canberra for 12 hours, and then I went to London. And I just got back from London. I know Canberra for 12 hours is actually the highlight.
That's why these ladies are on the show.
No, I went to London.
They
I just
bring
got
their
back
wisdom
from London.
back to the panel to
I know.
apply them to your
And
letters.
do you know, London is still my favourite city. I love it. It's so much fun.
And the wonderful Queen, the longest reigning.
Longest reign?
I'm not sure that came into my calculation, but I have to say,
Spoken like a good
as
Republican.
an architect, it was absolutely fantastic architecture, and in Spain as well, in Barcelona. And for the very first time, I've been around most of Spain, but we went up into the north, and San Sebastian, and went
Did
to
you go to
Bilbao.
Montserrat?
Didn't go to Montserrat, but I was looking. I'm working on a winery, and I was looking at.
You've got work over there.
No, here, but I was
you're
looking
working
on
on
a little
winery
bit of
for
research.
inspiration, I get it.
So there's been a lot of amazing architect-designed wineries in the north of Spain.
Hello, Beck.
Hello.
Holidays?
Yes,
What's
holidays.
happening?
Kids are buzz. Well,
Kids are buzz.
Yes, you can't do without that.
Hang on,
the
how
holidays.
old? What's the highest, the oldest age group? Highest.
Well,
This
everything,
tall.
because you've got Adventure World, so any age can go there. You've got
Let's go to
paintballing,
Adventure World.
you've got roller skating, you've got movies, you've got everything. So yeah, school holidays. So all your water parks are opening up. So now with the summer. So
of
Adventure
course.
World, outdoor.
October.
Outback Splash, which is up at the Maze at Bullsbrook.
Outback Splash.
Just
Is
today.
that trampolining thing still open? Though I can
Yeah, there's a few that have closed down, but a few that are still there. And unfortunately,
Outback Splash.
Hillary's has closed down the boat, the
Trampolining
water
bit.
park up there. They're looking for a new.
Never mind.
So anyway, school holidays. Araluen.
kids
Go
are
to
not at a
Araluen.
loss.
Tulips are out too. That's beautiful.
Oh, of course.
Stunning.
And go to Rottnest.
And go to Rottnest.
You told me not to mention it, and you bring it up.
We've only got 2
I'm
weeks.
allowed to.
And get into the city. Let's not forget
And
that.
get into the city. Hi, Mitch and panellists. I quote the Huffington Post. Donald Trump is going to be elected president. The American people voted for him a long time ago. They voted for him when the History Channel went from showing documentaries about the Second World War to porn stars and swamp people. They voted for him when the Discovery Channel went from showing lost treasures of the Yangtze Valley to Naked and Afraid. They voted for him when the Learning Channel moved from something you could learn from to My 600-Pound Life. They voted for him when CBS went from airing Harvest of Shame to airing Big Brother. These networks didn't make these changes by accident. They were responding to what the American people actually wanted. And what they wanted was Naked and Afraid. My questions to all of you are, do you believe this scenario to be reality? And if so, are we in Australia following the same path? And who do you think will be our Donald Trump? Comes to us from Anthony of Bellevue Hills in New South Wales. Who's up first on that, Suzie?
Okay.
Do you like Donald Trump?
I think before I answer that part of the question, not that I saw that personal question in there, Gary, thank you, is that I would say I've travelled a lot through America, and if you've been into any part of America from sort of east of San Francisco and west of New York, or across, and you go down in that middle section, you start to see who votes for Donald Trump. And I was travelling through there like 20 years ago, backpacking through the middle. It is a different world. It's not the America that we as Australian citizens see. It's not the Hollywood. It's not those people, they're out there doing all this stuff. It is a different type of country and different people, and they're the people that are voting for Donald Trump. Now, I think what's happening is we don't have the same disparity between our populations, and I think we mix in culturally diverse better. But I think the thing is, I do think that there has been a lot on radio recently about how we are becoming more conservative in our voting. But then that actually started, and I didn't know that till today, that the actual far right started in Denmark in the 70s. And so one of the things I think what we're seeing now is with Brexit, Cory Bernardi, Pauline Hanson are our representatives, and we're seeing reactions to people being over politics.
Okay.
They're,
Beck?
Look, this is a man worth between 4.5 and 10 billion.
Good for some.
Is he actually going to make the rest of America rich too? I don't think so. A poll that was recently conducted, it surveyed over 1,000 registered voters, asked them for 2 words to sum him up. And 83% said obnoxious, 45% said corrupt. Describing demographic nominee Hillary Clinton, though, the answers were quite different. 82% agreed that the former Secretary of State was intelligent, and 70% said she was experienced. As for who would make our Australian Donald Trump, gee whiz.
We're not going to have one.
I don't even want to answer that because I hope that we don't.
Margy?
Look, as far as I can see, unfortunately, whether it be our media programming, written media, we are dumbing down as a society. That's definitely happening, and I think that's a very sad thing. And I think, our Donald Trump we're in a position where I think we're dangerously close to sort of following that same footstep. I think we need to make sure that we don't go so far down in all our other levels that touch our people, that we start to look at people of that level and see them as candidates.
Cool.
So to
Price
me,
of democracy is eternal vigilance.
I think we have to be careful that we're not getting led down a path of being dumbed down. And I think that, you know, our Donald Trump has the possibility of being a myriad of different people, and I think we need to make sure that we keep lifting our level up.
Good
I
girl.
think also, don't you, sorry to interrupt, just to say that in the States, when you vote for a president, you've got two choices. You know, Democrat and Republican. And the reality is this is like a protest. People are sick of that. The younger generation, the millennials, they don't want to just have, I'm Democrat 5 generations. you know.
Lise, last word to our Lord Mayor.
Last word to me. Look, I think Looney Tunes comes to mind. You're talking about all these TV shows. I mean, the reality is Donald Trump is a worry. If he is elected the President of the United States, well
God
then
help us
I think, you know, World War III is going to happen. I think it's that scary. When you talk about Australia by comparison, you know, we have compulsory voting versus non-compulsory voting. I hear what you say about the rednecks in the middle of the United States, but there are still a lot of people on the edges who are just as scared. And I think,
Totally.
I think the reality is in Australia, our system is broken, and I look at the political systems that exist in the world today, and I actually think the way we've been doing politics is broken. And I think we need to revise the way we do politics. You know, coming together in Parliament House for a week and having so much time for questions and people flying in from all over the country, it's not feasible. I actually think it needs to come back to basics, and I think it needs to be a much quicker system and revisited. Something that was devised in the 1800s just isn't cutting it in the 21st century.
You know, any business has to be revised and has to be revitalised for it to be able to keep going forward.
Absolutely.
And for us to keep doing things the same, we're going to end up in a lifeless space.
That's why these ladies are on the panel tonight. We've got to go. We've got to end this segment. When we come back, we're going to be talking about child psychologists and where they're pushing us. Don't go away. See you soon.
And that's
Getting in touch with Sweet and Sour is easy. Just head to sweetandsour.net.au to send us a letter. And while you're there, why not check out our past episodes? Plus, don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And for a behind-the-scenes look at Sweet and Sour, check us out on Instagram.
And we're going to send all of our letter writers to the movies this week, courtesy of Natalie Cameron. And the movie we're sending them to is Captain Fantastic. Have you heard about that one?
Seen it?
Have you seen it already?
Saw the preview with Nat. Brilliant. Great movie.
There you go. Good movie?
Beautiful. And good family movie as well. Viggo Mortensen is awesome in it.
Good on you. I know someone who's
Eccentric.
gone tonight to see it. Fantastic. Here we go, letter 2. Dear Sweet and Sour, sometimes professionals from every discipline can take themselves far too seriously. It comes from a lack of balance where those around them, for one reason or another, accord them a degree of expertise that creates a belief of superior acumen. And so I believe it to be with so-called gender experts who are now publicly crusading to identify kids as transgender as early as 4 years of age. I find it obscene and dangerous in the extreme. I'm the mother of 3 and the aunt of another 11. I've seen all prepubescent kids want to dress and play as the opposite sex. It's entirely natural. So why now is it the business of one of these so-called experts to interpret that behaviour? And more to the point, why is it that anyone would even want to interpret this normal behaviour of kids and categorise it as problematic? Why is it that this society allows these so-called experts anywhere near children? Leave them alone. We protect children from pedophiles, so why can't we have a law to protect them from gender-bending psychotherapists, or as I call them, psychoterrorists? Marlene of Caulfield in Victoria writes to us. We're going straight to Margy.
Interesting letter, Marlene. Well, there's two different sides to this, because I agree with Marlene. I think the world's gone a little bit mad, and I think we've got an expert for everything, and shame on us, because we have actually got to a point where we are sort of almost controlling everything around us, and I think to the detriment of all of us, and certainly in this situation to the children. But at the same time, I actually can give you a couple of examples of people that I personally know who almost grew up in the wrong body. So they started their life as a girl, and truly, if you knew them like I knew them, 100% they were in the wrong body, and so now later in life they have changed over.
But they weren't 4 when they were being
They weren't
addressed by...
4, and they waited until they were an adult and they were making adult decisions, and they gave themselves space and time to, investigate and, tinker around a little bit. So, you know what, Marlene, great letter, thank you.
Lise, let kids be kids, surely.
Yes, Gary, let kids be kids, but I think Marlene's the one with the real problem here. I think she's got a lot of opinions. She sort of reminds me of a lot of people that I meet in my professional career on a daily basis, you know, full of opinion and want to ram it down your neck. But the reality is, I think let's not underestimate medical science and research. I think it has come so far, and it's very clear, as Margy just said, that it's quite apparent that a lot of kids have these tendencies very early. I mean, you know, I only have to look at my 3-year-old granddaughter and see that she actually can work the iPhone and the iPad better than I can. So if a 3-year-old's doing that, I think it pretty well follows that a lot of kids are very in touch with who they are at a very young age. I also have friends who tell me they're gay, who have told me that they knew from a very young age that they were that way. So let's not judge, let's just let everyone be.
Suzie?
Well, look, I agree with the other panellists, and I also agree with Lisa that Marlene has a lot of opinions, and it's actually people like you, Marlene, that are the problem for these young people growing up in the wrong body, not quite sure of themselves. I have twins, I have 4 children, and my middle ones are twins, and my twin son, wanted to wear tutus and dresses, and often,
as kids do,
and my daughter would be out playing with him in the garden as well. And I would send him to my parents once to be looked after, and he was in a beautiful floral dress, and my father was absolutely mortified, and I said, what does it matter? He's wearing a dress, he wants to wear a dress. I think if kids are allowed to explore like that, that's great. Maybe, I'm not sure Marlene would like that. She talks about it. But the real thing is that the kids can be given puberty reversible drugs that can stop and delay puberty to give them time. And I think that if they need it. And I don't think, I mean, I did read somewhere that a doctor is actually doing gender reassignment at 8 in America, and that is crazy.
Appalling.
But I think that if you're at 18 and you know and you've had this time to think, I think,
Yeah, look, I'm pretty much the same opinion. My little boy on Friday, it was book week last week, he dressed up as Tinkerbell, full on Tinkerbell. Makeup, nails painted, and for no other reason other than he thought he would be the class clown, and he was, and he won the...
Fantastic.
You know, won the best dressed up for the...
I think my mate Evan
I've
and
got
I
2
have done that on
boys.
occasions
You know,
too.
there's no reason, but they dress up in some clothes. Sometimes they see me, they put the heels on, they put... So, you
Nothing
know,
wrong with it.
no, there isn't.
Nothing
Look,
wrong with it.
there really isn't.
Assigning problems to it. When we come back, we're going to be talking about squat toilets and whether it suits us Westerners. We'll see when we come back. Don't go away. Sweet and sour.
The answer is no.
Oh, hey, Sweet and Sour. My name's Damien. Look for me at the end in really tiny letters.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Wonderful time to have cash. Straight into the next letter, dear Mitch. So the Australian Taxation Office doesn't want to talk about the installation of squat toilets for its culturally diverse workforce. It's filthy. 70% of all adults who haven't learnt to squat by the age of 12 cannot squat to go to the toilet. If it was a question of catering to a minority, I have no issue at all. But it affects most of us. It's a question of having universal highest health standards across our nation. I've lived in several foreign nations over 24 years. I can assure everyone that in the main, Westerners cannot use squat toilets efficiently. It would be nice to think that the squat toilets would be for the sole use of those who preference squatting in their ablutions. Yet think of how many times each of you has had to rush off to the loo to find all the cubicles occupied or only one cubicle available. This is the issue. When those who can't squat are forced to use a squat toilet, apart from other problems, their shoes become the carrier of potential diseases. The ATO's decision to install squat toilets is a ludicrous backward step. How is it that they are permitted to do this? Where is the Federal Health Minister on this? Where are all the OHS practitioners calling for a reconsideration? This has hardly touched the news. Surely the panellists agree this is the most severe retrograde step, and it comes to us from Dennis, just down the road at Subiaco. We've had a lot of policemen on this show, and now we've got the poo police as well. Beck, up to you.
Oh, Dennis, I don't think this is about Australians using squat toilets. It's about installing maybe one squat toilet in new public toilets for people, you know, that do want to use them. It's actually more about a safety and health issue here. People are getting, believe it or not, quite injured by actually squatting on a toilet. There's many, as we know, foreign Australians that live in Australia that are residents, and using public toilets, or even their toilets at home, they are actually standing on them, and they're made of porcelain and ceramic, and they are honestly literally giving away some of them. And I did a little bit of a Google on this, and people have even died. They're getting severely in hospital just because they're just completely collapsing under them. I also feel that me as a public toilet user, if I have to, I don't want to be going in there afterwards and someone's actually stood on there as well. So look, I think it's more of a safety and health thing here. I really do.
Suzie?
Well, look, the ATO have 30% of their population in their main offices where they're actually culturally diverse, and they're often from the areas where they're using squat toilets. So I actually think that it's a really good lead the government's making here. They're not saying every single toilet is going to have a squat toilet. They're saying they're going to provide some squat toilets. But I think it's interesting, Dennis, because you talk about how many times do you have to rush to the loo and there's a queue. I reckon on this panel, we'd be the ones that would know it far better than you, Dennis, and that's actually to do with the building code not having enough toilets available for women in the calculations. But to be honest with you, I think that putting a squat toilet in a public building where you've got a culturally diverse population is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like it.
You
No, Lisa?
I don't like it either. I believe when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Backward
and
step.
I think, in answer to your comment about people squatting on Western style toilets, we need to educate these people. Maybe we need to put it on the Australian citizenship questionnaire, but the reality is I don't support it at all. I think it's a backward step, and if you take it backwards, you might fall into the slit toilet.
They're still doing it, aren't they? That's the thing.
Well, they might, but like all things, you water it down over time and you educate people rather than catering to it.
But they're not talking about putting it in every office. They're saying the ATO have made a decision. I mean, if you go to Dubai, they have standard toilets, but they have the little shower next
Look,
to you,
it's
which
like
is,
the prayer room debate in the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not dissimilar to that.
Margy, last word.
Good point, yeah.
Well, I do want to say, Dennis, thank you for sending the letter in because it's given us 3 minutes of stupidity. But you know what, girls? I'll give you this. You have made me think from a different angle, and I think that is a really good thing. I'm a little bit with Lisa. I think that this is who we are. When in Rome, we do as the Romans. And in Australia, yes, we are.
We are white
No,
Australians.
we are multicultural, absolutely, and I'm
This is a health
100%
issue.
for that. But I actually just think this is our way, and come in. Yeah, that's right.
I
so
know, you're right.
I don't think we need to.
Toilets are international.
Yeah, that's right.
International. Japan's moved towards our toilets. Everyone around the world is moving
Well,
towards
medical
Western.
professionals are saying squat toilets are better for you.
Which
Not that
medical
I want-
professionals?
not that
Which
I
medical?
want to-
They also said that about giving birth. Women should do it standing up. How many of us have adopted that?
Well, I don't know how.
Not too many.
When you last
Of
gave
us.
birth, Gary,
Of
did
us.
you stand?
Of us.
Did you stand? Did you stand?
the girls
Yeah.
It's been lovely being one of the girls tonight too, Liz. Have we got a letter that we like to give away the pair of limited edition sunnies to? Margy, which one do you like?
Well, actually, I like the second letter from Marlene because although it was
Marlene, the gender letter?
transgender, I think
Transgender.
Marlene made us think. And
Okay.
although
Lisa?
I don't agree with her, I think it was a good letter.
Good
I'm going to
letter.
go with 3 because I think it's a very
Toilet?
relevant issue for our city.
Squatting? Okay. Lise. Lise. Suzie,
Oh, 2.
number 2.
2.
Okay, we won't correct that, Jack.
2.
You're number 2 as well. So there it is, coming out, number 2. Who's that? Marlene of Caulfield, Victoria. Coming out a pair of limited edition sunnies, courtesy of the Long Treves. We've got to go, ladies. It's been fantastic. We're all queuing up.
Squat or sit? That'll be the question.
Good luck, Margy.
Thank you, Gary.
How long's it going to take you?
Oh, it'll take me. I'll be back. I'll see you in November.
All right. We'll see you then. We'll look
You
forward
can
to the
follow my
report.
trip on Facebook.
Fantastic. My Lord Mayor, thank you for being on the show tonight.
Pleasure, everyone.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Always for you.
Oh, you're a doll. Thank you. Good on you. Suzie,
Yes.
not
Thank you.
whipping
for
off to
having me
London
back.
or anything?
No, I'm home for
Okay.
a long time
The
now.
world of architecture. We'll talk about Rottnest next time, won't we?
Oh, okay.
Beck, school holidays.
Yes.
Have fun.
Thank you very much.
I
I
don't
will
know
do.
how you can't go home every night and take a Bex because I'd want to. Goodness me.
Well, my husband
Thank all
takes
of
the
it.
Bex.
I understand that. Thank all of our wonderful panellists. Thank our terrific crew, and thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. Good night, everyone. This is Where We Wave, ladies. That's it. You know that. Come on. You've all been on here before. Good night, everyone.